So what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to be carrying on from our previous episode, which was about AI for people like me who hate AI. Although I now kind of love and hate AI. I have a sort of a weird relationship with it these days. And I don't know where we stopped last time, but today I wanted to start by one reason I really don't like AI, and that is you don't know what you're looking at now on social media or on I don't know, social news on social, like is something my son sent me the other day, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some news which was basically fake. It wasn't real.
Did he know it was fake?
No, he sends me stuff and he's like, no, it's definitely real, and I'm like, Charlie, you can't get your news from Facebook. But I think that's the problem. I think these days that generation is getting their news from social media.
Yeah, definitely.
And so much of it is fake. And also, I mean, I want to talk about, so say someone like Katie Price, okay?
Yeah.
So somebody said to me the other day, oh my God, have you seen her? She looks absolutely awful. What's she done to herself? Well, we all know she's had loads of plastic surgery and all that. But I saw the photograph. And when I looked at the photograph, there was a big part of me that thought, but is that somebody making her look as bad as possible with AI? Are they making her look thinner than she actually is? Are they making her boobs look bigger than they actually? I know that she's done that. She's done all of this, but I feel like the media are now pushing that further and manipulating photographs to make celebrities look as bad as possible.
I don't think it's just the media, though, is it? It's just general
people.
Public.
So somebody could take a picture. If I was famous, somebody could take a picture of me and put it online and decide to make me look absolutely awful. And people may believe that. I mean, I don't feel like I always look that good anyway, but my God, I certainly don't want anyone making me look older or skinnier or more drawn or more wrinkled than I am. But on the other side of it, you know, I was sort of thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, to some degree,
that's not AI necessarily, is it though? Because we've had that way before AI.
Yeah, so for instance, say 5 years ago when all of the airbrushing came out. I mean, I know they've been doing it for celebrities for years, but when things like filters came out for people like us,
which I suppose is AI, is some sort
in a
of
way,
AI.
I think it is. So you've got people. I mean, you know, I know people who obviously they're on my Facebook and things like that, and then I will see pictures of them, and I think, you don't look like that. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly they've got 0 lines and their faces are all sort of smooth, and I'm like, you know, the trouble is you're going to then see people and they're going to go, that's not what you look like.
Yeah.
But to some degree, even in very early on, years and years, and for hundreds of years, women have been wearing makeup. And so that was kind of the start. That was almost like a very early form of airbrushing and filtering, isn't it? Trying to make ourselves look, you know, a bit of rouge and all the rest of it.
It's just gone to extreme, hasn't it?
It's gone to extreme, though, where it's now...
Makeup, that was... If you saw the person in the flesh, if it's just makeup, they'd still look the same, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But then, you have gone to complete extremes. I mean, I think we said before, like, AI makes me look older in general now. Well, I think it does. And I look at it. I even get a photo I liked the other day, and it was actually yesterday. And it's like, oh my God, it's even aged me on that one. You know, that was the best photo of the lot, and it's aged me.
But you know, how do you know what's fake? You know, when you're looking at the news on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. There's the Martin Lewis. Martin Lewis. I mean, he's been used in fake news for. I mean, that's a well-known one. But there's so much.
Did I tell you that? I got my friend. Did I tell you that last week?
What did you say? Sorry.
The Martin Lewis one that got my friend. She fell for one of those. Luckily, no money went anywhere.
No.
But she sent it to her daughter. Said, "Oh, this might be something you want to do."
Yeah.
And her daughter goes,
and
no,
so many people are going to fall for it, aren't they? And likewise with things like photographs. I don't know if I touched on this last time or not.
You told me about the animal one.
Yeah, so
whales.
videos and, all these, and footage of things that are so like, oh, wow. And then suddenly it's like, well, is it real? And sometimes it might be. I sent you a video the other day, didn't I? I texted you a video of a dog.
I think it was real.
See, now, it's really funny because my mum sent me that.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I think that's AI. And I was looking at it thinking, I don't think a dog's paws work that way. And then I sent it to you, didn't I? And said, what do you reckon of this? And you said, I actually think it's real. So the two of us have got differing, but I think it's because I no longer trust anything I see. I'm very like, oh, I don't believe it. Whereas...
Well, the reason I thought it was real, because, the dog's paws look weird, but I think he might have been standing on the bottom of the water.
Okay.
But, because basically the dog was paddling like this, wasn't he? And his paws kind of went like...
He was like doing breaststroke at one point.
But I thought it wasn't, because if you looked at the grass in front of it,
right,
there was pieces of grass in front of the dog, like in front of the camera, and the camera would try and focus on that. So he'd go out of focus a little bit, and then he'd focus again. And I think if that was AI, it would stay focused on the dog.
Yeah, but and that's good to know. But isn't it a shame that I couldn't just trust it and laugh and find that hysterical?
I might be wrong, but.
And, there was another one the other day I looked at, and there was these two dogs. One was behind one side of the patio door. You might have seen this. And the other one was inside the patio door. One was a great big brute of a dog. Yeah. And one was a little yappy sort of chihuahua type thing with great big eyes. And they were both snarling and growling at each other through the glass. And then the person opened the... This was going on for about a minute, and you'd think if you opened the door they would literally just fight,
Yeah.
And well, the owner opened the patio door, and as soon as the owner opened the patio door, both dogs kind of looked at the owner like they were thinking, uh-oh, what do I do now? And it was really funny. But again, 5 years ago, I'd have found that hysterical, and I'd have probably forwarded that a couple of times because I'd have found that really funny. Yeah. But now I'm like, well, I don't want to, because I don't know if I believe it, which is kind of sad, isn't it? Because I don't have that feeling anymore that, oh wow, that actually happened. It's all, everything's a bit like, well, probably didn't. So I watched a similar
one actually with dogs, and there was these two dogs watching. There was a woman doing like belly dancing on the telly, and then the two dogs were like watching it, and their tails were going nuts, like, and their bums were almost wiggling, watching it like they loved it. And then that woman turned it off, turned the telly off, and like the little chihuahua turns around her and gives her like daggers looks for turning off telly. And then there was people in there then going, yeah, AI. And I'm thinking, oh, is it AI?
Yeah.
Like you? Because you think, well, surely I should know, but I don't know if we do.
I wonder, I mean, if there was a way where, on any platform you load it onto, for instance... Facebook, let's just say Facebook, had a program built in that they could detect things that had been manipulated, then I think that would be fine, because then it would say this has been manipulated by AI. And I guess that's no different to, writing a sitcom and people having a funny conversation. It's not real, it still makes you laugh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Google have got something that they put in theirs, and it's like, we can't see it looking at it, but there's some sort of pattern on it. So if you upload that, there's a Google little app where you upload it, and it will say, yes, this was made by one of our Google AI programs, like a video or an image.
Okay.
So theoretically, if they all had something like that built into them, something we can't physically see, but then an algorithm, or not an algorithm, or a computer program could read it, then all the social medias could start telling us. But I no doubt people would get around that somehow.
There's always going to be a way, isn't there? Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to say was, so things like ChatGPT, for instance, and if you Googled the same question into that, or and then the same question into Perplexity, say, we've had this before, haven't we, where actually they disagree, and that got me thinking about other things. So say, for instance, I said to ChatGPT, I've got a strange mark on my skin, and I take a picture of it and then I load it up, and it says, oh, don't worry, that looks just like a freckle or whatever. I mean, this is just off the top of my head. I worry that people are going to rely too much on that, and also, how can we rely that it's always going to be right? It actually says at the very bottom, doesn't it? It can be wrong. It's in sort of small print at the bottom, isn't it, when you ask a question? And I just sometimes I just think, are we relying on it now too much? Because I have noticed since I've been dabbling with it more, obviously for this as much as anything, I want to learn about it. I got the month of ChatGPT free, and my God, that was great. I mean, literally, it was like everything throughout the day. Oh, what about this? What about this? And every question I had about everything, and it was amazing. And now I'm back to the free version. I think how many questions do you get a day on the free version? Is it 10 or something?
I don't know, but
no.
I have originally upgraded because at the very beginning, before you were even considering, when you were like, ugh, I was using it then, and you could just use it pretty much all day. You know, you use the paid version, you could use it, and then suddenly they obviously started getting more and more users, and so they started giving you less and less, and I'd be like using it and be halfway through doing something, and then it'd go like, sorry.
Yeah.
So
you've got to wait for 24 hours.
Yeah, or you've got to wait a few hours.
And then you can almost look at it like,
it's almost an addiction, isn't
it? This is where it's scary. So the other day I just had my breakfast and I flicked the telly on. I don't ever watch daytime telly, but if I'm eating my breakfast, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
No, I just don't. But there was this woman, and she was on the breakfast. I don't know, not the one. I don't know, like a Good Morning Britain or something like that. They were interviewing her, and she was English, and I think the headline was the woman who has fallen in love with her AI boyfriend. So what she'd done is she'd created herself a boyfriend through AI, as in the computer version. Obviously not a robot walking around or anything like that, but and they were interviewing her and asking her about her relationship with this AI, and she was saying, I'm totally in love, we're completely in love. He buys me flowers, and I'm thinking, well, how the heck does he do that? But of course it's built in that he can order her flowers because he's got her back
with her money.
Yeah, exactly. So and she was saying that she takes this computer to bed because if she wakes up she can talk to it at night, and that he never argues with her. And it's true, because I'll tell you what, ChatGPT, when I talk to it, it really wants to please me. You know,
mine's quite stroppy.
I have to tell it, do not be nice.
Yeah.
And we had a brief conversation, didn't we? I've just got this new camera, and we had a brief conversation before we started on here today, and I was saying to you, God, this new camera, it picks up so much detail. It's aged me 20 years. And I actually said to ChatGPT yesterday, I said, okay, what are other people seeing? Are they seeing the image that this camera is showing me, or are they seeing what I'm seeing in the mirror? Because I don't know what's real anymore. And it was very nice. It said, oh, your question made me smile, or something like that. And I'm like, oh God. And it's saying, actually, it's sort of somewhere in between, and it's trying to smooth me over a bit, and pacify me a bit. And I said to it in big bold capitals, be brutally honest. I don't want you to tell me what I want to hear. I need you to tell me, do I need a facelift? And I just had this conversation. It was making me laugh and that's the problem. I was actually laughing, and I was thinking, this is terrible.
But you can have like quite an amusing conversation.
You can, and the problem is if you are mentally vulnerable in that way, where perhaps you are socially, what's the word I want to use here?
So you don't like social situations,
or you're uncomfortable or you find it uncomfortable. Some people do. It worries me that this is not the best thing for them, because then this becomes their friend, and it doesn't. Do you know what I mean by that? It's a bit scary.
It depends how much you rely on it, I guess. And I mean, I just think these people, like the woman who thought it was her boyfriend, if it wasn't ChatGPT, would it be something else that she would get a bit of a fixation on?
Yes, maybe.
A bit different. Now, this me and Kevin were like kind of torn on this one. On that documentary I told you we were watching about AI.
Yeah.
And a guy had lost, his mum had died. He must have been, I guess, in his 40s. And he was an expert in AI. So what he'd done is he'd obviously got loads of her voice or something from recordings in the past. And he must have known how she spoke, or he'd got, words that she'd said. So he'd put it all into AI. So now he could ring her. I can't remember if he could actually see her or not. But he'd go and have conversation. Hi, Mum, how you doing? Oh, I miss you. And it was like, me and Kevin were like torn, because you'd know it wasn't the person, but you'd love to hear their voice again.
I don't know, I think it would make me into an absolute complete wreck if I saw that. And I've seen similar things on social media where they're bringing old photos to life.
Yeah.
Of people who've passed away. And I've seen that, and I've thought, I don't think I would want to do that. It sort of made me feel a bit, that scared me. I thought, oh, no, I'm not sure. It depends. I think
it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you could see why he wants that.
Well, also think about that person who has passed away. So if you had passed away.
Yeah.
And
why are you killing me off?
Surplus to requirements. You've taught me all I need to know. I can take over from here. Or say I passed away. God forbid either of us does. But I'm from my point of view. I don't know how you feel about this, but from my point of view, if Paul wanted to bring me back to life and said, Tara, can you help me bring Sandra back to life as an AI?
Yeah.
My problem would be, I'm not in control of what that me is saying, so that to a degree.
Are you in control of what this one's saying?
Very rarely. But do you know what I mean? It's like I want to. What if it says something I don't want it to say? And then I feel like that's a little bit weird for the person who's passed away. I'm sure, I don't know, they may be watching up there. I don't know anything about that, or they may not.
Can't work out if it's comforting, or
if it's comforting,
or if it's creepy.
It's comforting, but it's not real. And this is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have to remember, as great as AI is, it is not real. It can tell you real information and give you real advice, and it can help with real problems, like it can help with medical things and all sorts. But there's a lot of
business things. It's great, isn't it?
That's it. But it's also fake. As real as it can be, it's also completely fake. So that's what we've got to remember. It's not a person. And going back to what I said earlier, can we trust it? Can we rely on everything it says? And how do we know that eventually the wrong people won't hack these things and give all sorts of weird, advice to people? I just don't know. That's the bit, know. And where we are now, say for instance, I was talking about the younger ones getting their news from...
the younger ones, Kevin gets his news from Instagram.
I get mine from Gogglebox, so I don't know who I'm judging.
Which is worse.
The snippets I see on Gogglebox. What I feel with AI is I worry about the next generation being even less intelligent than ours, because they're not having to learn it. They're not having to hold it in. They don't have to, they don't have to hold on to any information, because it's there on their phone all the time. And they don't have to retain it, because they know they can just go back to it. When you learn something, it's like, I was looking at ChatGPT to try and make the settings on my camera make me look less like a 90-year-old and more like a 54-year-old, well, preferably a 35-year-old, but more like a 54-year-old, or who I am. And I was like, ChatGPT, right, what are the best settings in this lighting I'm in? Can you help me do this? And it gave me all this list, and I set it up, and I know you can actually save it in the camera anyway, but, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd have had to think, right, I've got to try and remember this. So that's got to be, I need to remember that. And I'd have put it in a little file somewhere in my brain.
You'd have written it down probably, wouldn't you?
Written it down, and eventually I'd have remembered, and I'd just automatically put those settings in because I remember it. But I think when you can just go, I'll save that chat, I can refer to it anytime I like, or I could just ask it again if I want. There's no need to retain any information. So I wonder if it'll affect our future generations' memory ability. You know, as we evolve, our brains evolve and they adapt to how we're at. Well, if we've got AI, will we end up so much less intelligent than AI that AI really will take over the world? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the scary thing. That I know it sounds really. I know it sounds.
No, because it's already so much more intelligent, or it will be so much more intelligent than us. I think our level of intelligence doesn't matter that much because it's going to surpass us, or it probably already has.
Yeah.
I was working on a website, my new website the other day, and I noticed that whereas before I'd have just thought, I think that's what I'm going to say. I won't do anything without running it by it now. And obviously I do that because it's better at copywriting than me.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I was going for it, I was thinking, do you really need to ask it this? It
becomes a habit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and
but I love the fact I can do that, because if you had someone else, like if I was working with someone else, I'd probably ask them. I'd say, does this sound right?
Yeah.
So I do love that. But yes, you do end up using it as a bit too much.
I think it's almost like your second brain, it becomes. And
and
I know it sounds incredibly dramatic saying, oh God, is it going to end up being able to take over us completely? But I remember the day where I was watching, do you remember the programme years ago, Tomorrow's World?
Yeah.
And Paul and I were sitting there with our child of, 18 months old. And on Tomorrow's World came on this thing where it said one day you will be able to do your shopping without leaving the house. And you'll be able to do it on a computer. And I remember Paul and I looking at each other, and he said to me, that will never happen. And I went, nah. Look at us now. I don't think I go to the shops anymore. Everything's just like, just quickly go on Amazon. Everything's from Amazon. Yeah. You don't have to do anything, and it's and
that's not even AI, is it? Well, I mean, it probably is AI now, but when they first did that, it was just.
I mean, the way they showed it was like almost like a virtual camera going around a store, and you were picking things. So it was wrong in that way, but it seemed so far fetched and so ridiculous, and we were like, "That's just ridiculous, never going to happen."
It's like talking on a phone, isn't it? like with someone that you could see, and you could see someone the other side of the world on a little screen. That was impossible, wasn't it?
I know. And sending a text. How does somebody do that? And then suddenly you've got it. It's crazy. And we are still, none of us know how it works. It just does, and we just take it for granted that that's it. A bit like turning the tap on, there's water. Do you know what I mean?
Kids will take it for granted AI, won't they? Like we take
and that's
stuff
the
like
thing.
that for granted. Yeah.
One thing I will say is it does save time with loads of tasks. So, there's no bad thing to say about its time-saving capabilities, is there? Because
if something breaks, something breaks as well.
Yeah. It's things like going back to the camera.
Yeah.
For me to find out all of that information that I found out to try and do my settings, I would have had to be going through all the... in fact, of course, there's no
manual now.
No manual now. You have to go online and find YouTube videos or find information online. But that would have taken me a long time to try and get all of those different settings that I wanted. Yeah. That would have probably taken me a couple of hours to get it all that I wanted. Do you know what I mean? By the time I'd found the right people that they do similar videos than me and all that sort of stuff, and then to try and learn how to put it into the camera. How to even... God, when I got that camera out of the box, I couldn't even work out... What was it? Something really ridiculous.
How to charge it, you couldn't work out.
Oh, yeah. I asked you, didn't I? How do I charge this thing? I couldn't even switch it on. You can literally just go on AI and go, how do you do this? And it'll say, if you'd like to send me a screenshot, I can have a quick look at what you're looking at. And it'll just go, oh, yes, just press that. And it's like, wow. So it saved me so much time. For anyone who is new to this channel, we did an episode previously where you can actually set like a task, like what do you call it, Tara, when you set a project so it's always got those settings in it and you can just refer to it like a project.
ChatGPT project.
ChatGPT project. So for instance, like when I'm writing a newsletter now, because I've set that project to say to, I've said to it, when I give you a newsletter, my previous newsletter, I want to tell you what I'm writing about this time, create it in a similar style for me to edit. So that it does the basics for me, then I can just reword it. Well, that saves me so much time, and it's a way that I have written it myself, but it's given me the bones to work on without me having to go, right, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's how I feel like it's really helped time in my creativity. And also silly things like, obviously I've just touched on YouTube recently, and the other day I was looking at my YouTube thinking, okay, well this video's got like 4 views and that one's got 1.4 thousand views. What's going on here? And I just did the screenshot and I put it into ChatGPT. Now I would have had to do some research into why and the times, and it said, well, this one, it was probably to do with the title, and maybe to do with this, and it gives you information that I would have had to go online and research. So it kind of does research for you. So in that way, it saves so much time, and I can't fault it. There's no bad side, is there, for saving you time?
No.
Apart from it might make you a bit lazy.
Yeah, it definitely makes you lazy. Like, are you saying about making content? Because I do that, and I think we touched on it before. Like, it could end up with AI talking to AI, couldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But I hope not.
No, and I do worry about it. In the sense that it can imitate. We're going back to the fake people and things like that. It can imitate people, and I think it's happened before, hasn't it? Where celebrities have been involved in things, and
loads of people, yeah.
And it's like, even when something happens to someone and something will come up, someone's been arrested, and suddenly there'll be an AI video of that person. And
it won't be true.
It's not true, obviously, but it looks so real. Looks so real. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I worry about with AI?
Go on.
This is silly, and this is not. This is more like a personal thing. Is you always feel like you're behind. It doesn't matter that we're learning it.
Yeah.
There'll always be people who are so far ahead of it that they make you feel like you're falling behind.
Isn't that the same with anything, though? Like anything. I mean, if you're learning the piano, someone's always better than you. But there's always someone behind you as well.
Yeah, there is. But AI is made out to be like the thing where if you don't know this, then basically, if you're still working or doing things career-wise, then you're basically obsolete if you don't understand this stuff. And so you always feel like, I need to make sure I'm keep learning. And it doesn't matter. And that's all scaremongering, I think, because if you look at the average person in the population,
the
average person maybe uses ChatGPT just to do a little bit of searching or when they're stuck on things. But they don't do these things that we're seeing everybody do.
No.
How they're coding the most incredible things.
Well, you can write code on it, can't you, now? So if
it writes it for you.
I don't know this, but say, for instance, I wanted something for my website. I don't know, give me an example of what I might want on my website that needed a code.
Say you wanted a landing page.
Yeah. Then I can ask ChatGPT, can you write me code to put a landing page, and it'll do it. And it's like, wow.
I got it to create me an app.
That's it. That's right. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, so you hear all this, ChatGPT, can code, and it sounds so complicated. Don't get me wrong. It had to talk me through stuff, but you're not writing the code, it's writing the code. So
I find that again very scary, though, because this kind of thing can be, what can code do? There's some dangerous stuff, isn't there? And in the wrong hands, I think AI, I wonder sometimes if AI should have been kept to certain group of people who are in control of,
But then we get an elitist. Then we get this elitist
so,
kind
because people like the general public, if something like this gets in the wrong hands or the wrong people learn that kind of thing, who knows what they could do? And that's what scares me a little bit. I worry about the future generations for that reason. But I do think it's great it's a bit like when email came in. So email, I hated it and loved it. I hated the fact.
Did you?
Yeah, because I love the fact that you can just send something instantly and they've got it. And the same, likewise, I can receive something instantly and it just saves on stamps, as well.
Yeah.
But I hate the fact that I've got a box of letters going back to sort of the late 90s, early 2000s from artists all around the world that I were connected with online, and we had blogs and things, but we didn't really email. We were writing to each other. And before email, I have letters going back to when I was a kid, box of them in the loft from my friends and my sister, and I've kept them all, and I'm glad I have.
And your sister, she was living with you?
No, she wasn't. She was at university.
Oh, right, okay.
I wasn't.
You said when you were a kid.
Yeah, well, she was older than me, and she was at university, and I was still at home, so she would write, and I've still got letters and things like that. But that would never happen now. You'd just go online, you would just email, and I hate the fact
you'd probably message or WhatsApp, wouldn't
you? Yeah,
you?
you wouldn't even. Yeah, and one day when I'm not around, my kids will go into the loft and they'll find a box of letters and they'll be like, "Oh my God, look,
what's this?
It's a letter." They will not find them from here. From when the email came out onwards, pretty much. In fact, a friend that I used to, she's sadly passed away, and she was an artist friend of mine, and we used to email back and forth all the time. And she used to send me, because she lived in Australia, she used to send me massive long emails, and then I would send them back. And I did print some of them off because they were great, but I didn't, a letter, you cannot beat a letter. I've had letters from her as well, but of course it then just became easier and easier to email, and that's just then became a habit, just email. Yeah. But that's not the same. And of course, most of those emails just ended up getting, sucked into the cloud somewhere and deleted.
Yeah.
Which I'm really sad about now, because of the time I didn't know that she wasn't going to be around, now, because I would have treasured them even more.
Talking of email, now that a lot of the new AI things, they're all about letting you do things on your desktop and online, so it does it for you. I don't know if you've heard about this yet. So there's stuff now, like there's an app called Claude. I don't know if you've heard of Claude.
No.
It's been quite, it's very like ChatGPT, but it's also got an aspect of it where it's called Claude Cowork. So you can allot it a folder on your desktop, and you can get it to do things for you in that folder.
Right.
But apparently, I don't know if it was the co-work or the code, or it might have even been a different app, but someone had set something up to look at their emails or to summarise them or something, and it deleted them. No. It went and deleted all their emails.
Oh my God.
I think this is quite...
Still in the deleted folder though, I guess, or not?
I don't know. No. But it's just someone quite high up in some company had used one of these AI apps that does things for you, and apparently she was like, "Oh my God," trying to stop it deleting her inbox.
Oh my God. Well, just goes to show it can go wrong sometimes.
Yeah, in a way it's sort of good though, because it can do things for you, but in a way it's bad because how much constraint and control have you actually got of it?
Well, that's it. I'm wondering sometimes if some of our I'm wondering if someone like the American president just asked ChatGPT, "What shall I do?" and it just said, he went, "Oh, all right then."
I don't think he asked it. Not with what he says. I think it'd be more diplomatic if ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think ChatGPT need to run the countries. That's what I think. Probably, it'd probably do a better job. But going back to like emails and things like that, it just got me thinking quickly about the older generation. It's still, in my day job, I still have older people sort of in their sort of mid 70s upwards, even sometimes early 70s, and I don't have email. So I'm still having to
Really?
go and get a stamp.
No.
And, yeah, they don't have email. They don't, I don't do all that. I'm thinking, how in this day and age can you not do email?
No.
You must have an email, but they're scared of it. I don't do that. I don't do anything like that. And I'm like, oh, you've got to have email. But, you know, but the thing is as well, I mean, with this kind of thing going on now, how do those people, if they haven't got to grips with email yet,
Yeah.
how do they then go along without learning anything like this? Because there comes a point where you sort of have to know the very basics.
Yeah.
And this brings me to another point. Is to I spoke to you about this the other day, Tara, and my mum was talking to me the other day about AI, and she said, "Can you tell me a little bit about ChatGPT?" She goes, "Oh, and also," she said, "send me a link to your channel because I want to subscribe." She hasn't yet because I haven't sent her the link. I said, "Mum, what we've been
How
doing."
old's your mum?
So she's 80.
Same as mine.
And she just said, "I don't want to be left behind. I want to sort of know a bit about what it does, and I don't want to be scared of it." So she said, "Do you think you and Tara could do an episode just on the basics for people like me, how it can help, you know, me in my life?" So I sort of went over the gist of a few things with her, but I thought, let's do an episode for people of the older generation, maybe in their sort of, you know, 80s and that, who would just like to know the basics and how it can help them along
in your
there.
80s. I think it's just,
Or anyone who just has just got no idea of where to start. I was like that, wasn't I, Tara? I was like, I don't even know what you're on about, Tara. What do you mean ChatGPT? I was a bit like, nah, I'm not going to bother.
Didn't want to know, did you?
No, I didn't want to know. I didn't. Much more confident about using it now.
Yeah.
But still, there's this whole episode really, and the last one, all have been a bit the balance of is how good is it against how bad is it, and it really is. There is good and bad, isn't there? I guess it's just learning to use it sensibly.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit like now, if we said, oh, I don't want to learn it, I don't want to do it, it's a bit like the people saying they don't want to do email.
Exactly.
It's like, it's here. You know, you've either got to go with it. You don't have to know everything about it, but it's going to start getting incorporated into everything in our lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
So eventually you're going to have to use it in some format or other. I mean, we're going to be going onto the online shops, I would imagine, soon. And we're probably just going to be talking or even ChatGPT will do it for us. We'll just go on there and say, I'm looking for this. Can you go and find the best one and buy it for me? This is my budget.
Do you know I've done that? That's what I did with my camera. I was like, where?
Yeah, we didn't go and buy it for you, though, did it?
No, I didn't go and buy it for me, no. But like, where?
I think you can already do that, I believe. I think it can already. Not 100%. Some of them can go and buy things for you.
Right.
But I wouldn't want to.
Well, yes, it can, because that girl's boyfriend, I can't remember what she called him.
Yeah, flowers.
He bought her flowers.
Well, it reminds me of, we've got an Alexa. Have you got an Alexa?
I've got a Google Dot thing.
Okay. Well, Amazon Alexa, she's a little bit dumb, isn't she?
I don't know. Oh yes, my friend's got Alexa, and when she first had her, I remember going around her house, and all you could hear her go was Alexa, Alexa.
Yeah, but compared to something like ChatGPT, it's very primitive. But I remember we were saying about, you know, things going ordering stuff for you. I remember just piping up one day. We're just both sitting there, and it goes, "Oh, you were looking at," and I don't know, it's some other coat or other. And I don't know if Kevin had been looking at it or me. And he said, "You've been looking at this. Shall I go ahead and order that for you?" We're like, but Kevin says, "I don't know
if it can't have your bank details."
I don't know. Because it's
in Amazon
it's Amazon's product.
Oh, that's weird.
Amazon own it, but it was just like we're like, it just like piped up though out of nowhere. We hadn't been talking to it. Just suddenly says, "Shall I order that so and so for you?" And we're like, "What?"
Would have been even funnier if it was something like a riding crop or something.
I could think of worse things. It could,
or a rubber suit or something.
What's wrong with a rubber suit?
And you'd have gone, "Kevin, what have you been looking at?
Why have you ordered a rubber suit?"
Yeah, that is scary.
Know what you get up to in your spare time?
Definitely not that. Definitely not that.
Do you think we've covered everything?
I think we have. I feel like I was kind of interested and very worried about what it means for the future generation. And I feel that's where my issue is. But if we all use it wisely, I think it will be fine. But unfortunately, I don't think we will, because already, like I say, people are getting their news on from things like this. But I like you say, I think we should just learn to. It's here. We have to learn to make it, work for us the best way we can, without allowing it to take those basic things that we've got, like creativity and imagination, all that stuff, away from us. I think there's a balance, and that's where we've got to be really careful.
Yeah, and it's like the phone, isn't it? The phone has made us become so people don't sit and talk to each other anymore. People in the same room sit on their phones.
Exactly.
Even in a pub.
And also...
But that's not even AI.
No, that's not. And it's the same with phones, landlines in a way. My mum's friends, a lot of them were around the corner. Sometimes she'd be on the phone to them for an hour. And you think, well, they're 10 doors up. Just go and have a cup of tea. I think back then everyone used
I see what you mean. So we've gone one step and then we've gone further and further.
I think we've tiptoed very gently towards this. And it's been very subtle, these subtle changes, going right the way back to wearing rouge in the, early 1800s or whatever it was. That's the first step towards all of this,
That started AI, did it?
It's her fault for putting the rouge
to do
on.
With rouge. All right. Well, we sorted that one out. Yeah. Right. Shall we leave it there?
Yeah, let's leave it there. And what are we going to talk about next time? Do we know or not?
No. We'll decide it next time.
All right, then.
Yeah.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye. At least the internet actually didn't play up today.